everyone to Gars from the Evo project, and today we're looking at the Stamina Dragonknight PvP build. Same as my Warden and same as most of my other builds, these will be shown in a no CP environment due to the videos and builds being done on a console. So expect that all builds will show the statistics when in the CP environment. So this is the unbuff stats, and we'll go to the buff stats. And this is the buff stats on the front bar. The stats will go higher with the sets, but this is how they look at the moment. Right, let's go into the skills first. And on the front bar we are running Noxious Breath for the major breach, and very nasty dot, quite a nice actual upfront damage if it crits. So that's one dot. Second dot, Venomous Claw, again really nasty dot. Also applies the poison status effect. So really nice, Executioner, forward momentum for weapon damage buff and immobilization removals. So this is pretty much your Purify in a nutshell, really. It's not really a Purify, but more of a crowd control immunity, really. But yep. Your spammable, dizzying swing, and like the Warden build, this doesn't have a secondary burst, so your ultimate take flight, dizzying swing, and your 2 dots should be enough to deal the same sort of damage that other classes with a burst skill can do. On the back bar we're running Heroic Slash, which comes with one of the pieces that we run. Cauterize as a heal. The heal actually heals off of your offensive stat, even though it costs magicka. Volatile Armor for our armor buff, must have. Good way of pulling people out of sneak, and also returns damage to the enemy. It'd be nice to see if this was turned to physical rather than magic damage, but you know, what can you do about it? Resolving Vigor is your burst heal. 1 burst heal, should I add. The second burst heal is Green Dragon Blood. Now, yeah, anyone knows about Green Dragon Blood will know the insane potential this has to heal you for quite a substantial amount of your health back. Probably your best one to spam actually if you're in the doghouse, really. And Spell Wall, really nice ability. Puts up block without costing block, and also reflects projectiles back to the caster. So yeah, really nice counter to a Sork burst if you have it up. Passive wise, all the standard passives really that you would have. You could probably take reach off of there. You don't really need that. We are a Nord. I think with the way that we've got set up, even next patch, Nord is going to be nice. Just sort of how the DK works, ult regen, and to do with the fact that we're not running Bloodspawn on this build. It just fits in quite nicely, really. Yeah. So, onto the weapon setup. So, we're using the Vatterstrand Battle Axe. Now, a lot of people think this is a cheese set. It is fairly cheesy, like I'm not going to deny it. Um, but I think really it's one of the more difficult ones to remember to use and to time right. Um, the Vateran staff is complete and utter cheese. That's just free damage. You use an ability that costs nothing to do shit tons of damage. You know, it's not the best. Where this one, you have to use momentum. It costs stamina to use it. It then has to build up with stamina abilities, and then you have to heavy attack to release it. Um, yeah, and it's only an 8 meters around you, so it's not overpowered, but it's just a nice extra burst potential for a DK that doesn't really have the burst equivalent as same as other builds. So yeah, it's just a nice. It comes hand in hand really with it. With this, we actually run poisons on this one to get the minor brutality buff, and also to inflict minor main on the enemy, which is nice. And it also drains them of their stamina costs and gives you stamina back. So yeah, pretty nice. Our back bar setup is the Maelstrom Mace. I would probably change this to sturdy when I get the time to do it. But yeah, just look at this. When you deal damage with a low slash, which we use to debuff the enemy anyway, and to gain ultimate, your next heavy attack within 5 seconds restores nearly 1900 magicka and stamina. Partnered on top of what the heavy attack gives you anyway. This is a really nice sustain set on an otherwise not used bar really. Like, the sets on your back bar aren't crucial, and actually this, when you use this, you can bar switch and use your 2H to still proc it within 5 seconds. So it doesn't even have to be on the sword and shield bar, which again is nice. You can sort of partner that with the Vatastran 2H and get a load of resources back and do some nice damage to add a bit of pressure. The monster piece setup we're using is Troggings. Yeah, enough said about this really. It's really good. It will carry you a lot in BGs. The second set, which is as I've said in my stat, if you see my Stam Warden build, is Ogrims. Now, this really does allow you to run medium armor and still be as tanky as heavy. You get those resistances, you get that health recovery under 60%. At 50% you get the Troll King's health recovery. So you know you've got, well, with the 2-piece, sort of 800, nearly 900 there. Get nearly 900 there, so you get sort of 1800 health recovery at 50% and less. Partnered with the heals that this build has, 50% in low health, you become pretty much unkillable within reason. So yeah, it's really nice setup. We're then running the Talk of Tonal Consistency. This sort of just fits really nicely in with the build. So a lot of people run Eternal Vigor. I believe this setup is probably better than Eternal Vigor. You get really good recoveries. The DK doesn't necessarily need stats recovery because of the way it uses with its ultimates. But you know, why not? You know, it's even more like sustain is not an issue on this build at all. If you're clever, you've got your sword and broad, you've got your talk of tonal consistency, you've got your ultimate, you've got your heavy attacks. You know, you're you've got some very crazy sustain in this build, um, and a very high sustain when it comes into non-CP as well. And because we're running a mythic and arena altering weapons, we need a two-piece on the jewelry, and really, it's agility. There's nothing else that can really sit in this set. You could run two-piece trainee, but I just like agility, and we're just running one arcane and one robust, just for the extra max magicka to go with the build, and yeah, it's really nice. Just weapon damage and all, infused talk of tonal consistency for the extra weapon damage. I would only ever run one infused. The rest run sort of the max stat variants on the jewelry. Everything infused in pen, divines. So one divines, one infused, the rest in pen. You could, like my warden build, run reinforced on the large pieces and in pen on the small, or divines on the small, or reinforced on the small pieces, infused on the big. Just play around with it. It's really sort of feel how you feel with it all, really. Now, just a little bit of explanatory into why we run Troll Kings over Bloodspawn. The DK's got some really nice passives that make it quite tanky anyway. So yeah, it more beneficial to pump out the healing, considering on the skills we're not running major mending. We've gone for an extra heal. I feel like it performs better. And yeah, that's it really. Again, if you're interested in the CP, this is going to obviously change next patch, but 50 into Warlord, 1 into Siphoner, 6 into Sprinter, 13 Tenacity, 50 into Healthy, 43 into Mooncalf, 48 Shadow Ward, 42 Tumbling, 50 into Blessed, 38 into Master at Arms, 48 Mighty, 50 Piercing, 42 Precise Strikes, 42 Thermitage, 81 Ironclad, 17 Resistance, 52 Hardy, 52 Element Defender, Thick Skin 47, and 21 into Quick Recovery. Could take the points out of Resistance and put them into Hardy and Element Defender. And that is that for the build. For the armour I'm wearing, and I do get people asking me this, so the head is Heavy Akaviri, the chest is Akaviri Potentates, the shoulders are Argonian, I believe Argonian Heavy 2, the gloves are Akaviri, the legs are Radagar Heavy, the feet are Honor Guard Medium, the sword, the samurai sword is Soul Shriven, sword and shield, Akaviri 2 for the shield, and the sword is Soul Shriven Samurai. The waist is Light Honor Guard. The colours are from, the orange is from completing Northern Elsewhere, like finding everything, delves, bosses, the whole lot, and then the other one's Cold Harbour Black. The skin is the one that you can buy from the Crown store. Bloodforged, you could run Slagtown Diver to get the same sort of effect, or Meridian Purified. That's the build. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.